Yo, what's up guys? I've returned for yet another banger. Now, I'm gonna be straight with you. I can procrastinate sometimes, so I'm not sure whether this video is out soon as I promised it would be or not. So if it isn't, I just want to apologize right now. But if it is on time, then just ignore this message. Janemba vs. Majin Buu. This is a fairly discussed topic in the Dragon Ball community. However, I do not think it's discussed nearly as much as it should be, as the topic is very interesting and more complicated than one might think. This video will be centered around Janemba versus every form of Majin Buu using only the anime. And thanks to a good friend of mine who y'all might know as Toxicus, I think I have a decent answer for you. But without further ado, let's get into this battle between the strongest of demons. Okay, now the first thing to establish is you can't equivalent the characters in the Fusion Reborn movie to the anime. This is a very common mistake a lot of people make. The reason why you can't correlate the movie characters and scale to the ones to the main timeline is due to the movies taking place in an entirely separate dimension. It's similar to trying to scale Dragon Ball Super to GT or the Super anime to the Super manga. Scaling in the movies being different than the anime is shown several times, as the movies often have insane feats the anime could only dream of. For example, in movie 6, Metacooler is shown to be faster than instant transmission, with the movie taking place during the Cell Saga, and instant transmission is shown to be blitzing dudes in the Cell Saga. We also have Broly, who, according to Koyama, the literal writer of the movies, is stronger than anything in the anime, with the movie also taking place in the Cell Saga. Well, timeline-wise at least. So, with that in mind, there are two ways you can scale the movies to the main timeline. That being have a scan or statement that directly compares the two characters from their respective timelines, or you can analyze AP feats from each of the movies and compare them, as in what would they scale to in a versus wiki tiering system. But it would be better to use the former way of scaling rather than the latter, which we fortunately do have. In 1995, a weekly Shonen Jump was released that talks about Gogeta vs Vegito, and it directly specifies the ones from their respective timelines. In the jump, it describes how a fight between the two would go down, and describes how Gogeta would win a short battle, while Vegeta would win a long battle. Now this would mean Gogeta from Fusion Reborn is a little stronger than Vegeta from the Buu saga, due to the battle being extended to over 30 minutes being a possibility. Now, I know people might have some contentions with this, as there are numerous statements saying Potara provides more power than Fusion Dance, but all this would mean is that the Fusees, aka Goku and Vegeta, from Fusion Reborn would be stronger than the ones from the Buu saga. Now, if we take Super Saiyan 3 Goku vs Janemba and Super Saiyan 3 Goku vs Buu, the clash between them is very similar, in which Goku can put up a decent fight, but is very obviously weaker than their respective opponents. But since Janemba is doing what Buu can do to a stronger Goku, he should scale above him. This also puts him above Super Buu, Fat Buu, Skinny Buu, and any other Buus that are weaker than Buu. So, is that it? Does Janemba cap at Buu? Well, no, as we have Vegito and Gogeta scaling. So, since Super Saiyan Gogeta and Vegito are relative, that would also mean their base form should also be relative. And at least in my opinion, I view base Vegito and Buuhan as fighters who are roughly equal in power, not only to Buuhan being able to react to Vegito, but also a few statements saying the two are evenly matched. And as for Janemba and Gogeta, well, Gogeta felt the need to instantly go Super Saiyan to take down Janemba, which would imply that Janemba scales to or above base Gogeta. But to be safe, let's just say they are relative. So essentially, Janemba scales to someone slightly stronger than a Buuhan tier fighter, which should put Janemba slightly above Buuhan. However, you can maybe say the gap between the two is even bigger if you want to interpret Gogeta going Super Saiyan as his base not being enough to deal with Janemba, or you can just make the case that even base Vegito slams Buuhan due to some statements. Although a lot of those only pertain to the start of base Vegeta vs Buuhan, with Buuhan most likely growing stronger as he fought Vegito due to him having Saiyan DNA. But regardless, it still results in Janemba being stronger than Buuhan either way. Now, we are left with one, Kid Buu. This is very, very dependent on whether you think Janemba is at all relative to Buuhan or scales completely above Buuhan, as Kid Buu, while stalemating Super Saiyan 2 Goku, was stated to be stronger than Buuhan. And since Kid Buu later stalemates a fighter 4 times stronger than Super Saiyan 2 Goku, aka Super Saiyan 3 Goku, this should mean Kid Buu would be over 4 times stronger than Buuhan, meaning he would most likely beat Janemba if you view him as only a little stronger than Buuhan. However, if you view the gap to be much more substantial, then the two are most likely equal, as they both scale below Super Vegito tier characters, but far above Buuhan tier fighters. In this case, the fight comes down to abilities, which I think you can go either way, but I think Kid Buu probably has a little bit of an edge. This belief mainly stems from Buu's limitless regeneration and stamina, along with sharing many of Janemba's abilities like his matter manipulation. The only thing Janemba really has is his reality warping, and he could perhaps use that to catch Buu off guard and perhaps kill him, but since Buu can copy attacks, including non-ki based ones, I wouldn't be surprised if Buu didn't just copy Janemba's reality warping. I don't think this is entirely far-fetched, considering Buu is shown to be capable of tearing holes in space and time in far weaker states. But if you don't think so, whatever, I don't think it changes the result either way. But then again, Janemba could just make it so Buu hits himself with his own Kamehameha and obliterate all the fragments before Buu has the chance to copy his reality warping. Like I said before, this fight could go either way, but I do think Kid Buu would probably win more times than not. But feel free to disagree and comment why. I would honestly like to hear you guys share your opinion on this. But with that settled, I think this marks the end of the video. I honestly do not blame you if you have some skepticism or questions regarding this topic. As I said, this topic is very, very complicated. So just ask me in the comment section below, and I will try to reach it back to you as soon as I can. Also, while looking into Vegito vs Gogeta, I had the idea of just making a video on Potara vs Metamaran, as I feel like that is also a little more oversimplified than people make it out to be. So don't be surprised if you see that as the next upload. With all that aside, I'll see you later. Bye!